3/4 of a year. And we want to know how many months that is. Is it acceptable to do this in your head at all? No, it is not. You have to show your work. Three-fourths. The reason why I break this down, it helps you see whether you're going to be doing a fraction or a number times a whole number or a number times a fraction. That's why I do that. I think I've said that before, but I always have a couple people who aren't listening, who don't do what I tell them to do. Does it add one teeny tiny extra step? Yes. Are you going to die? No. So 3/4 times 1 year. We're going from a year to months. How many months are in 1 year? 12. So it is not going to be a fraction. It's going to be a whole number. 12 months. 3/4 times 12 months. What do you get when you have 3/4 times 12?
36 over 4.
36 over 4. It is improper. What do you do with that improper?
You divide 4.
4 into 36, and you get 9. For some reason, some people have started turning that into 9 over 4. I don't know when that started, but they need to stop. If you have 36 divided by 4 on a fact drill, are you going to tell me that's 9 over 4? No, you're going to tell me it's what? 9. So why? Because we're doing improper fractions, are you going to turn it into a fraction? You're not. Is it because we've been doing mixed fractions that we all of a sudden have to turn everything into a fraction with a denominator? Some people are. I'm just curious why we're doing this. If you have no remainder, there is no fraction. Your answer is just 9. There's no remainder. 36 divided by 4, plain and simple, 9. There is no remainder. No nothing. 9. You see what I'm saying? So it's not 9 over 4. 9 is my whole number. There is no remainder. So there's nothing over 4. So there's no fraction. It's simply 9. You see where I got that? Because if I had 36 divided by 4, I wouldn't turn that into a fraction. Just because this is written like a fraction, you don't keep writing it like a fraction. Unless you have a remainder. Is there a remainder? No. 9. Three-fifths of a meter equals how many centimeters? So I'm going to split this up. 3/5 times 1 meter. One meter is how many centimeters? 100. I'm going from a big unit to a small unit. So it's going to be that whole number. Oh, look, I made glass. 100 centimeters. What do I get here with this?
300 over 5.
300 over 5.
Take off 1.
I can't do that. There's no 0 down here, so I can't take it off up there. You only do that when you have 1 down here. If it were 50 into 300, then I can do that. There's no 0, so I can't. Can 5 go into 3? No. Can 5 go into 30? Yes. 6 times. Bring the other 0 down. 5 into 0. 0. Do I have a remainder?
No.
No. So I do not have a fraction. My answer is 60. No fraction. 3/5 of a meter is 60 centimeters. Now, I don't mean that everybody has been turning these into fractions, but some people have. You know who you are, and I hope that you finally are getting like, oh, duh, I get it. Please stop bringing it up. Do you get it now, the ones who've been doing it? So I can stop saying that? So that other people can be like, all right, Strickland, shut up, I get it. Because I hate repeating myself. I hate that I'm even having to bring this up. Measurement conversions. I hate teaching this again. I mean, for real. What? What?
Oh, sorry. Okay. Can we use the conversion sheet that we wrote down?
Okay. You think you're supposed to? Okay, I want you to do 5/12 of an hour into minutes and 2/3 of a yard into inches. Show your work. 5/12 of an hour is how many minutes?
25 minutes.
So 5/12 times 1 hour. 5/12. 1 hour is 60 minutes.
$60
60 times 5 is 300. 300 over 12. 12 goes into 300. 12 goes into 30 2 times. 12 goes into 60 5 times. No remainder, so no fraction, 25. Are you writing this stuff down? Then why was there a question? 2/3 of a yard is how many inches? 2/3 of a yard. 2/3 of a yard. Not a yard. 2/3 of a yard.
24.
24. You don't have the full yard. You only have 2/3 of a yard. So can it be 36? No. You didn't hear the question apparently. 2/3 of a yard. So 1 yard is 1 yard is 36 inches. 2/3 times the 36. 36 times 2. Big number goes on top because you can't multiply it easily when you put the big number on the bottom. That's 12. 72 over 3. 3 goes into 72. 3 goes into 7 twice. I mean, I shouldn't actually be teaching you how to multiply this late in the game. 3 goes into 12 4 times. No remainder. No fraction. Answer is 24. 24. No. Because we haven't done small to big divide. I'm going to have to do both. Yeah, really. At the market, Miss Wynn bought 3/4 pounds of grapes and 5/8 pounds of cherries. How many ounces of grapes did she buy? How many ounces of cherries did she buy? How many more ounces of grapes than cherries did she buy? If Mr. Phillips bought 1 3/4 pounds of raspberries, who bought more fruit? Miss Wynn or Mr. Phillips? How many ounces more? For D, we found 4 different ways to find the answer for D. There were 4, and some were easier than others. And of course, mine, they felt that was the more complicated way, but did it get the right answer? Yes, it did. So there are 4 ways that you can find the answer for D. So you have to do A, B, C, and D. Can you? Yes. Do not make it hard. How many ounces of grapes did she buy?
12.
Grapes?
No, I messed up. I thought you were talking about me. She bought 12.
12 ounces. Because the grapes is right there.
I did
3/4. It's in pounds. You need ounces. Golly, Morgan.
I said
3/4 times 1 pound. 3/4 times 1 pound is 16 ounces.
I got it right. Yay.
Golly. 3 times 16.
48.
48. 48 divided by 4. 12. 12 ounces of grapes. How many ounces of cherries? Well, she bought 5/8 of a pound, and you are changing that to ounces.
This one is 10.
5/8 times 1 pound. 1 pound is 16 ounces. Now, when you guys were like, well, can you do that? Can you do some problems of small to big divide? The only difference of small to big and big to small is this part right here. This is why I do the break it apart, isolating the unit. The only difference is this would be a fraction. Because this would be 1 ounce going to a pound. You guys remember when I kept doing this? And some of y'all never wrote it down. Because 1 ounce is 1/16 of a pound. And I go small to big divide, making it a fraction. This one is big to small multiply. It would be a whole number. That's the only difference. Because you're dividing, it's a fraction. A fraction is how you show division. It's the only difference.
Okay.
So 5/8 times 16 ounces. 16 times 5. 80. I could have done 2.0, but I didn't. 80 divided by 8 is 10 ounces. How many more ounces of grapes than cherries? That's 12 minus 10. 2 ounces more.
Yes.
C was the easiest one. But if you get A or B wrong, C is wrong.
Unless you mess up some C's addition. Wow.
Yeah, if you add those, well then of course you're wrong. Now, as I said, we found 4 different ways this morning to find the answer on D. So, if Mr. Phillips bought 1 3/4 pounds of raspberries, who bought more fruit? Well, who bought more fruit? Her or him?
Her.
Mr. Phillips. You're guessing. You didn't get the answer.
No,
So, I need to figure out ounces. We already know that if she got 12 ounces and 10 ounces, we know that Mrs. Wynn got 22 ounces. So we need to change 1 3/4 pounds into ounces, and we can compare the two. Because it's saying how many ounces more. So we know that we're going to have to change this to ounces. Now, there's more than one way to do it. The way that I did it does not have to be how you did it. Like I said, we found 4 different ways to do it. So the way that I did it was I did 1 3/4 times the 1 pound, 1 3/4 times 16 ounces. This does not have to be how you did it, as long as you got the right answer. 16 times 1 is 16. 16 times 3, 48. Do not multiply the denominator. You can, as I said before, you can multiply a whole number by a mixed fraction. But you cannot multiply that denominator. Whole times the whole times the numerator. Do not multiply that denominator. It's 48 over 4. So 48 over 4 is 12. 16 plus 12.
Oh wait, I added
28.
Yes, you feel what I did.
28 ounces. This is what he got. I can't see that.
No, because I scratched it out, but I just dropped down my one instead of adding one.
16 plus 12 is 28. He has 28. She has 22. 28 is bigger than 22. What? Why are you making a face? You, Marlon, you're making a face like, huh? When I said 28 is bigger than 22, you made a face.
Is it that easy?
Yes. One of my students, Alea, she turned 1 3/4 into an improper fraction and multiplied it that way. So 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3 is 7. Then she did her conversion. So 7/4 times 1 pound. 7/4 times 16. So this would be way 1. This could be way 2. 16 times 7, 2, 4, 112 over 4. That's 2, 8, 3, 2, 8, 28 again. So that's another way to do it. It's really not. I mean, it's just your number's bigger. Because this one, some of y'all can't remember that you've got to add, when you turn that into another thing, you got to add it to your original whole number. Y'all don't do that. Another one of my students did the improper fraction, 7/4, and when got to the 16, did 2.0. 4 into 4 is 1, 4 into 16 is 4, and went, oh, 28.
Wow.
So that's another one. Another one of my students said, oh, from up top on A, said, well, I know that 3/4 of a pound, was 12 ounces, because that's from A. And I know that 1 pound is 16 ounces. 16 and 12 is 28. So it's really whatever works for you, whatever will get you the right answer. This right here isn't always going to work. This one only worked because there was 3/4 somewhere else in the problem and you saw that it was already there. It just happened to work out that 1 3/4 was already there. You knew that 1 pound was 16 ounces. 3/4 was already somewhere else. You saw that it was there. That just happened to work that one time. So it's not always going to be there. It just happened to work this one time. So how many ounces more? Well, 28 ounces, 22 ounces, 6 ounces more. It's subtract those. That's a comparing thing. So, like I said, we found 4 different ways to solve this problem. They all got the same answer. I mean, you don't have to write down all 4. Oh, God. You can tell me you found another way to do it? So I ran out of room. Oh, my geez. All right.
So I added 12 and 10, which is 22. So I got 22.
Uh-huh.
And then I turned that into 1 and 6 16.
What? Okay.
I turned that into 1 and 6 16. And then 1 and 3/4, I multiplied 3/4 times 4/4 equals 12 16ths, and then I subtracted and got 6 ounces. Mr. Wynn has 6 ounces more, or Mr. Phillips.
Wow, it works. If you say so. All right. I'm just gonna go next slide. Yours is one that, like, I would look at it on a test and I'd go, what? And then I would have to look at it a whole lot and I'd go, all right, I get it. Later. I would have to look at it a whole lot and figure it out. Because your math brain is different from my math brain, and I have to look at it and figure your stuff out. You are the reason, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, you are the reason that I say show your work. Because when you show your work, because like I'm saying, like we found 4, 5 different ways to solve a problem. If you show your work, I can figure it out. If you write it down, because if it's right and it makes sense, I can figure it out. If you write it down and your math just does not work, and you did something wrong and you made it work and you kind of threw an answer in there and mathematically it just does not work, I'll be able to figure that out. I know your stuff works. But sometimes y'all do that. You'll write stuff down. You know it does not work, but you know what the answer is supposed to be, and you just kind of throw it in there because you think I'm an idiot. Don't even lie. You guys think I'm an idiot.
No.
Sometimes you think I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
And you think I won't notice. I used to think my teachers were dumb too. So when you show your work, when sometimes your math is a little bit different from what I do, as long as it supports the answer, I can figure it out. That kind of stuff. Like I'm sitting here going, huh? And I feel dumb hearing it. But if you write it down, I can look at it and figure it out. Hearing it, because I'm going, I don't know what you're saying. But visually, I can look at it and figure it out. This problem right here should look familiar. You have actually done this problem before. You will see it again. You're going to see it again. Now, do you see any type of measurement conversion on this problem? Is it asking for ounces or anything? It's got pounds, and in the question it's saying pounds. Is there a conversion? No. But it was on the measurement conversion page, so I don't know. So a gardener has 10 pounds of soil. He used 5/8 of the soil. Malaysia, you are my new best friend today. How many pounds of the soil did he use in the garden? How many pounds did he have left? There are 2 question marks, so there are 2 questions, so you should have 2 answers. Darn it. There are 2 questions, you should have 2 answers. Yes. How many pounds did he use? How many did he use?
Use 6 and 8.
So 5/8 of the 10 was 50 over 8, which is improper. 6.
It could be simple.
I know it can. And so that's the difference between 6 and 2/8 and 6 and 1/4. Because if this were a multiple choice question on the EQT, this you would find as a multiple choice answer. This you would not. But is it asking for ounces? No, so why would you? Because you just want to be extra?
Yeah.
So 6 and 2/8 is technically not wrong because they're equivalent. They are equal to the same thing. However, this is a simplified version of this. So if you did 6 and 2/8, it's technically not wrong. That's why I don't mark it wrong. Do you have trouble? Because Hadley can't see. Because you keep going like this, and she has to keep rocking side to side to see past your head. because you keep rocking in front of her. So that's why I don't mark it wrong when you don't simplify your answer. I just write simplify out beside it. Because when you run into a multiple choice test and you haven't simplified your answer, you're not going to see your unsimplified answer. You will not see 6 2/8. You will see 6 1/4. This is not incorrect, it's just not simplified. So this is what he used. They want to know, what did he have left? So he started with 10. He used 6 1/4. I cannot have 10 whole pizzas and eat a fourth of a pizza when I haven't sliced a pizza. I have to take one of my pizzas and slice it up. This should ring a bell. This is equal to this. It's the same exact thing. I just took one of my pizzas and sliced it. 4/4 is 1. 9 4/4 is equal to 10. Same thing. Now I can take away a fourth of a pizza. 9 minus 6 is 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. Keep your denominator. Now, if you had the 6 2/8, it's the same thing. 10 minus 6 2/8. I cannot take away 2/8 of the pizza when I haven't sliced up my pizza. 9 8/8. Minus 6 2/8. 9 minus 6 is 3. 8 minus 2 is 6. Same thing. If this were a multiple choice thing, I wouldn't find this. I would find that. I would find the simplified version. So this is what he had left. 3 3/4 pounds of soy. This is one that was actually on a test that we have done. And y'all got it wrong epically. Because y'all would go 10 minus 5/8. Every time. Every time, every time, every time. Even though it's a fraction of, that means multiply. And now that y'all see that and you know how to do measurement conversions, you're going to try to convert it. Even though it's pounds and pounds. Pounds to pounds, you're not converting anything.